If you know Forest Falls, you know it gets freezing cold in winter and yet can have sweltering hot summer days. The Macintoshes bought a Four Seasons Room Edition 30 years ago, specifically for the heat gain in the wintertime. However, during the summer, they had to avoid their living room, often needing sunglasses to even sit in the room next to the sunroom. 2 years ago, they reglazed the old room, and take a listen to how it transformed the entire house. So Tom, how did the performance of the first sunroom, when you bought the Four Seasons unit, how did the first unit perform compared to the reglaze that we did 2 years ago?
Dave, there was no comparison. You know, the other unit, in the summertime, it was burning hot in here, and in the wintertime, it'd be hot during the day and cold at night. And now everything is balanced out, and we're seeing moderate temperatures, both winter and summer. It gets warmer here in the summer, but it's palatable. We don't have to worry about wearing sunglasses because of the UV that's in the glass you put in, and it's become another living space for us.
Was the decrease, I know when we talked, you were almost afraid that in the wintertime you wouldn't get enough gain. Did it decrease the heat too much, or does it work out in the wintertime as well?
Well, I would say that it is borderline too little gain. However, the tightness of the new kit, the fact that we don't have a lot of air leaks, has created a true airlock entry area where we don't have the cold air moving through and pulsating, and so we found that it's really moderated the inside of the house to where even though we're not gaining as much heat, we're not losing as much heat, and so it's balanced out nicely.
When I was first here, did you have to keep this room completely closed off from the house?
Well, it was so bright in here, especially on a sunny winter day. The sunlight was so bright that we were contemplating buying blinds so that we could turn a football game on a weekend afternoon and cut the glare. And the heat would get so bad in the winter or the summer that we would keep this door closed off in order to temper the house. We would open the vents on the end of the solarium, keep all the windows open just to let the air move through because it would have so much gain. That's not the case now.
So when we did the new glass, did it really affect the way you live in the house?
Definitely. The comfort level inside our home, it was bad enough that on a bright winter day, we couldn't sit in our living room without wearing sunglasses. And now we put the sunglasses away. We don't have that problem at all. We can leave the door open 24/7. The dogs go in and out in the outside. We leave the waterfall on to remind us of the creek. It's just a whole new environment.
And the TV you're talking about, that there was too much glare, is in the attached room to the conservatory.
In our great room. Yeah.
Okay. And what about, are there any other advantages to having the high performance glass that you've noticed? Anything at night or when it snows?
No. Seems to. No, I don't really think I can think of any other thing other than our comfort level, and both temperature-wise and glare-wise. And of course, that's a majority of what we were looking for.
Before, we had extremes. It was either extremely hot and dry or freezing cold, depending on what was going on outside. Now what I find is it's constant comfort.
So the room now buffers the hot and the cold.
Yeah, and I can leave this door open all the time. Now we get a cross breeze coming through the front of the house, right through here. We could never do that before. We couldn't do that. So remember, I was the skeptic.
I do.
I love it.
Oh, great.
I love it. I told Tom it was worth every penny.
And those were a lot of pennies we talked about.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're going to be here 20 years. And our comfort, we were thinking of our comfort in old age. And it's here.
So talking about budget, because I know, there's less expensive glass that we talked about putting in, like the normal low E dual pane with argon. I think maybe around about half the investment. Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah, we did.
Because we were going to go just back to the clear and clear low E dual pane, But for the being double, I know for both of you, it takes a while to make a decision like that when you're thinking about that much of an investment. But you kind of already said it, but in hindsight, would you make that investment again?
I'm glad he did, because really, I thought he was nuts. I wanted to frame this in, put a heater in, and supply the heat to the solar heating units, and not have the solarium. And that was the tricky part of me. But in retrospect, I'm so glad you guys convinced me to do this. And I love it. I love being warm in the winter.
Thank you.
And cool in the summer.
There we go. Now, just kind of for the record, a little something professionally, because I deal with homeowners every day, and I know both of you are realtors, and right here in Forest Falls. What would be your opinion if someone was considering adding a room? Because a lot of clients feel you'll never get the return on investment back from a sunroom. Now, we always argue that if you invest in the room and do it properly, so that it is comfortable in the wintertime, comfortable in the summer, you will recoup that investment not only through the use and the enjoyment, but from a resale standpoint. What do you find from a realtor's point of view?
Well, in general, I would say that any room addition that's done with some class is going to make money. Room additions, kitchen additions, bathroom additions, they're expensive. And if someone's doing them simply to make money tomorrow, that may not be the wisest investment. And when you couple that with the enjoyment and the comfort that you should be able to get over a reasonable period of years, then when you go to resell, you're going to get your money back. Plus, you're going to enjoy it during all that time. And I know that when we take clients out and show them property, when there's something special about a home, such as a solarium, a solar room, someplace where they can really get the view, someplace where they can feel like the forest has come into their home instead of having to look out a window to try to see it, a small window, that's what makes people say this is a special house compared to the rest.
So you have found that if somebody does, say, a Victorian conservatory on the side of the proper home, even if it's a smaller cabin, if it's done properly and tied in with the home structurally, will that sometimes be the reason a home sells?
It definitely can be. When you live in a mountain area like ours, there's several months of the year when, especially if you have children, that they're confined to the house because of the weather. It may not be a nice snowy day, may be a great time for them to go out, but when it's slushy, when it's freezing cold, when it's pouring down rain, that's not opportune. But when you can create a room like a sunroom, even if it's in the middle of winter when it's snowing outside, and you've got a place to go and in essence be outside but be protected from the elements, that's the epitome of a wonderful mountain living. And so I'd say definitely that would make someone's decision go up substantially about whether or not to buy a house that had that kind of improvement.
And Tom, how long have you been in real estate here in Forest Falls?
37 years.
So you do know a thing or two about the market.
I think I do.
And what's the name of your company again?
Gilmore Real Estate. Been in business here since 1925.
1925.
Yep.
You're not that old.
I don't feel it.
I mean, even when I shoot it straight at the sun, look at that shot. Do you guys find that pretty amazing, how it does cut the sun?
Yeah.
Well, he's not kidding. We couldn't sit in here during the day. If you were sick and you wanted to just rest in a lazy boy during the day, it wasn't an option without sunglasses. So that's incredible.
So Tom, Patricia, this is the room, of course, attached to the sunroom, and the TV you were talking about. Let's just say, before we reglazed it with the new Conservaglass, your old room with the old clear glass, what would a day like today be like right now in the room where you're sitting?
Well, first of all, Dave, we probably couldn't have been in this room until about now, because before the sun went behind the tree, it would have been too bright, it would have been too hot, and we'd either have to wear sunglasses, and so consequently we just would avoid our own living room during the sunniest part of the day when the sun was shining directly in. With the new glazing, we can be in here any time of the day. Sure, the sun does shine directly in here at some times, but it isn't to the point where it's not usable for us, and it's become a great space once again.
And how was your overall experience?
Well, I got to admit that I was concerned. You came recommended by initial contractor I'd spoken to about trying to reglaze our solarium, and so initially meeting with your engineer and meeting with you, we were optimistic that we were going to be able to pull this off in a reasonable amount of time with the least amount of headaches. But like most construction projects that I experience with my clients, for example, there normally is a lot of disappointment involved, and so you got to expect that. The day that the glazing was scheduled to take place, your crew showed up. There was plenty of them. They were polite, they were respectful, and both of us were astounded at how quickly they got the job done, how much they worked as a team. It was obviously there was a boss and someone in charge, and everybody knew what their task was, and in you know, just several days, they had this whole project done, and we were down the road and back to some comfort living.
The Macintoshes are one of thousands of clients that invested in a Four Seasons sunroom 25 to 35 years ago and decided to reglaze their existing system with the brand new Conservaglass Select. The Colony, which you're looking at here in Temecula, California, is another satisfied client that reglazed their existing clubhouse, dining room, and meeting room. They couldn't be happier. Glass additions truly are a lifestyle addition to your home. Please visit sunboss.com for some different ideas, or give us a call and schedule a free in-home estimate. We also offer 3D renderings. If you can upload a photograph or email us a photograph of the area of your home where you'd like to add an addition, we'll send you back overlays in 3D of 15 to 20 different styles of different rooms on your home. We're Sun Boss, and we'd love to build the room of your dreams.